Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. But I thought it might be a good time to go ahead and take a second to give an update. It's been almost 2 months since I left my job with the federal government, and we're still trucking along. It's hard to believe that that much time has already gone by. But yeah, I think I'm only like 3 days away from 2 month mark. It's crazy. Yeah, I wanted to come on here and just talk about a couple of things real quick before going forward with any kind of stuff from the past week. And that is that the conversations that I'm having with people as we're out and about, and even though, there's people watching the videos, but it's not like there's thousands of viewers or anything. And it's never been my goal from the beginning. My goal from the beginning has been to journal this adventure we're on, and this story we're in that I don't know the ending to. and and I said right from the very beginning when I did that first video of why I'm risking it all, I said I want to build community more than I want to build an audience. An audience is passive. I want there to be engagement. I want to have connection with people, and that is exactly what's happened. And I'm just so thrilled about that. And the thing is while it's what I was hoping for, it's gone beyond what I had foreseen as far as the importance of it. So, you've been seeing as we've gone through the house, we've tried to, de-hoard the house. We've tried to remove a lot of the trash, sort through things. We've now started selling things, which has been a wonderful addition. It's been raining here for the last week, and if you heard that bang pickup, it's Itzy, and I'll just show you real quick. She spends all day over in that chair waiting to pounce on birds at the bird feeder, even though she cannot get them because it's glass. And anyway, so as it's been raining all week and everything, I've been spending a lot of time building the website for our Quiet Waters Creations and Curiosities. If you watched the last video, you saw us setting up our tent for the first time and figuring out the layout and what kinds of things we wanted to do, and really trying to chisel down on the vision of what we want it to be. And we've been executing that this week. We have quietwaterscreations.com. You can go check it out. And we have items there that have been handcrafted, inspired by the locations we visit and the people we meet and the communities that we participate with. But then we also go ahead and list different little, curiosities that we find along the way. One of the things we like to do is to go ahead and we do a thrift tour. And when we go to a new community, we like to take a day or a half a day and we plot out where all the thrift stores are in that town. And we just go around and visit them. We love doing thrift stores and flea markets and things like that. And when we find things that, bring back certain memories, or if we think it's a pretty cool, interesting piece, we pick it up and we keep it for a little while and everything. And we've decided to go ahead and include that in what we're selling as we go through these different markets and festivals and things, but then also on the website. And the story part is what I want to talk about. The story that we're in and that I'm on right now, I don't know the ending to. I have hopes for the characters involved. As it winds its way through different locations and everything else, we learn different things and it evolves as we go. But the cast of characters out there is you. And several people that I've talked to through these videos and through selling things and being out in the community have been so meaningful and so heartfelt, where I didn't anticipate that me being so open and sharing the journey we're on would invite others to feel validated or feel seen in their own journeys and some of the similarities, different but similar type things. And then the people that have reached out and have been open and vulnerable enough to share what something they saw or something that was said in one of these videos and how it impacted them or how it awakened something in them, or maybe reminded them of a painful point in their life. But yet several have reached out and we've had good conversations either on the phone or in person. And I feel like that's where it's at. That right there, that's what it's all about. And this whole journey along the way is made better by the engagement with other people and the encounters that we have along the way, and the conversations and the memories and the laughs, or in a couple of cases the tears. And I said to somebody just a couple days ago that bought one of the items that we had, and we met up, and I delivered it to him, and we got talking, and he had went through a very similar situation with his family, and with the hoarding, and the aftermath of that. And we sat on the back hatch of my car for about 30, 40, maybe 45 minutes, just talking, just comparing notes on life. And he was telling me about the adventures he used to go on. And before neuropathy kept him from being able to do the rock climbing that he can't do now, but he still hikes and everything. And I talked about my canoeing adventures, and it was a beautiful thing. But it is something that there are times, maybe the weather's contributed to it too, but there are times where I'm like, should I just go ahead and go back to work? Why am I risking all this stuff? So even though I did a video 2 months ago saying why I risked everything, it's an ongoing conversation. And I think, especially in the last week, where there's been a number of frustrations, there's been a lot of hurdles that are out of our control, and we're just kind of stuck at the whims of a bureaucracy. And at the same time, we're starting to, we're getting up on deadlines where financially things are going to start coming home to roost. And that can be anxiety producing. And there are moments where I have to remind myself why I'm doing this. And each of the encounters I'm having with those of you that have reached out, whether it's through emails or if it's on social media or if it's in person, those moments are so real and so important to what humanity is really about. I've talked in the past about how I believe our role, our purpose for being here, to be stewards of creation, of the rest of creation around us. That includes our fellow human beings. And that when you're doing that, things feel right. And the only time in this last week, especially, where things haven't felt right is when I'm having to spend a lot of time navigating bureaucracy. When I'm having to do a lot of things where I'm chasing expectations of, I've got to pay for this mandated insurance, or I've got to, things like that. But the encounters I'm having with people, and when I'm just working on creative stuff and organizing the means of our sustaining this free lifestyle together that we want, I have no anxiety at all. As a matter of fact, I'm just about as happy as I think I've been in a long time. And I feel like I'm on a course that is intentional, but also that it's supposed to be what's happening. And so I'm still holding on to that faith. I still believe whatever's meant to be will happen. But I just wanted to start off this video and just kind of check in, since it's been a couple of months. There's still damage to the house. There's still a lot of stuff we've got to go through, and we're doing the best we can. Anyway, let's get to the rest of the video. It's been a few days since I filmed, and I was exhausted. I slept in till almost 10:30 this morning. It's crazy. I am more groggy than if I didn't get enough sleep, so I'm trying to wake up. But I had to tell you about an experience that I'm currently in with the courts. So I've been trying to close out the estate of my mother-in-law, and it's been stuck in a probate process for a long time. And as far as I can tell, it's never even been reviewed by anyone in a judiciary capacity other than the estate's office, which are great people. They're really sweet and everything, but it seems like I keep having to go back and do one more thing. And then I get one more form, and then it's like, well, you still got to do this form. And then I do a form and say, oh, well, this form needs this. And it's just been this one thing after another every week. And the one this week, it may be completely legit, but I just shook my head and I was like, what has happened with our system that this is what it takes? Anyway, so my mother-in-law's last will and testament, her will was done years ago, and it was notarized and everything else. It was recorded and all legit, all, rock solid and everything. Turned it in to the probate. When we first started the process, everything looked good. Went through it. Okay, fine. Because of this that's in the will, you got to go and get this. You got to get that. You know. So there was a process. And we followed it, and I finally got the final thing, supposedly the final thing that was needed, and turned it in a week ago. And said, okay, we'll call you tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and get this going so you can start actually officially addressing needs of the estate and closing things out. And a week went by and I hadn't heard anything back. So I went into the office and they pulled the file and they looked through it and they said, oh, well, this might be a problem. And I said, what is it? And they said, well, look here on the will. There's handwritten changes to some of the things. And I was like, right. And it's initialed, you know, and they said, well, but this might be a problem because we don't know that this is legitimately her handwriting. And I said, but it's ink. This is not a copy. This is the original with ink. I said, it's ink signed and initialed by both her and the notary. The notary also initialed every single thing. There was like 3 things that changed that the notary was like, well, you need to clarify this. As an example, one thing she had in her will, she said, I have no children. When she did that, she was thinking, I don't have any children, like, you know, that age, you know, like below 18. And the notary was like, no, this is for the purpose of your will. You have to state your children's names. So the hand wrote in for Michelle and her brother John. And my mother-in-law initialed it. The notary initialed it. And there are a couple just little clarifying things like that. And so it's all notarized. It was recorded, everything else. And they said, well, you need to get an affidavit from the notary stating that she was present for those changes and that those are their initials. And I was like, what? I was like, isn't that the purpose of the notary? Isn't that what the notarizing is, you know, it has the notary's initials and signature along with hers in ink on that day, and it's sealed. Isn't that what a notary's for? And they said, well, we need to really make sure of this. So I said, okay. I don't even know if the person still works at the place. It was 3-4 years ago. I go, person does work there. So they go ahead and I tell them and they're like, what? They've been doing notarization for years, never heard of anything like this. And said, yeah, okay. So they're laughing a little bit and saying, sorry, you're having to go through this extra step. And they go and he fills out an affidavit and he signs it and everything. And seems like everything's going to be fine. But no, wait, there's more. And this is why it made it on the video this week. So it ends up that the notary doing the affidavit, his affidavit that he is the notary that notarized the will, has to be notarized. I'm not making this up. So another notary has to notarize the notary's affidavit that he was the notary that notarized the will 3 years ago. So we did it. We did that process. And the other notary goes, so are you going to have to come back here and have a notary notarize that I was the notary that notarized the notary's notarization? Anyway.
I think my cat is broken.
Well, it's another week and another response of like, well, check back. We'll get more information to you and let you know what's happening by the end of the week. It's been like this for a month now. As far as I can tell, I've turned in everything and more of what's needed to the court. And I told them, I said, look, people are calling, they're asking questions, and need to know what to do. And still the same response as always.